everyone, and welcome once again to Miami Minutes, the podcast concerning all the karate chops and connecting the dots of the 1987 classic Miami Connection, one connection at a time. I'm one of the hosts, Niall McGowan.
And here to slice and dice my way through this martial arts epic, it is I, John Parker, your other humble, wonderful host.
Hey, we're back. We're in the heat of it now. We're in the Miami heat, as it were.
And that is not just a reference to the current heat wave in the UK, which I'm sure people from Miami will laugh at that suggestion.
Yeah. I think what's currently over here, it might break the UK record of 38 degrees at one point. And I'm sure in Miami they're like, well, that's like winter. Like, what the hell are you talking about, man?
It's all relative, though. When you're used to one thing and it changes, you feel it. And you know what? By the time people hear this, it's probably going to be freezing again.
Oh, I'm certain. What happens? This will be the UK summer, and where everyone was complaining about how hot it was for like a week, and then next time it's like, no, I wish we had better weather this summer.
Yeah.
But no, that's the way it goes, you know. But yeah, we're here to talk about minute 5 of Miami Connection, which opens with a midnight massacre underway, and it ends a minute later with that same midnight massacre still being underway. Although it's kind of ended at that point. It's sort of like they're in the middle of we'll get to it when we get to it. The very confusing implication that the fight is over, where it's like, oh, that's them driving away, I guess. Is that the same people?
Like
what's happening there?
Very noisily. It's like a noisy ninja getaway.
That could have been a better title for the film.
Noisy ninja getaway.
I've been trying to think of better because Miami Connection is like, well, this is it. This is the connective tissue of Miami is happening right now. You're seeing it. But then the next like 80 minutes of the movie, you're like, what was that about? Like,
well, as you said, it's like Fargo, you know.
Yeah. But I'm just trying to think of like what else would they like? Would it be like Awesome Orphans or? But the Noisy Ninja Getaway that rolls right off the tongue.
Dragon Sound.
Dragon Sounds. Yeah. I mean, I think we might have brought it up before, but I know that, like, wasn't there the Bruce Lee biopic, I think, kind of flopped. It came out around this time. Because I know that when they were adapting Red Dragon, the Hannibal Lecter book, Dino De Laurentiis, he came in and made them change it to Manhunter. Because movies with the word dragon in the title, he were like, no, that's bad luck. It's because of that one movie with dragon in the title. I think it was called like The Last Dragon, or and not Enter the Dragons. That's obviously the big Bruce Lee one.
There is a Bruce Lee one called Dragon.
I think it was.
But that's 90s. I think that one, isn't it?
When did Bruce Lee die? I thought he died in like the 70s.
It was 70s or 80s. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll just double check here. See. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, Bruce Lee, The Last Dragon, 1985.
That'll be it.
Yeah, and it's got Vanity in it too. There we go.
Well, then the one in the 90s, which I loved as a kid, called Dragon, I think that actually bombed as well.
It could have been this is like there was a wave of ninja movies in the 70s where like they did quite well because they were made for nothing, and most of them were imported and just shown in cheap cinemas, and then that's how they rendered some kind of profit. And then by the mid 80s, it was just like, we've got Back to the Future and stuff like this. We don't need these ninja movies anymore. But
well, they needed this one. This would have saved it.
Yeah, but imagine if maybe if they called it Dragon Sound, it would have got people back out into the cinemas, or it might have at least got the few people who went to see The Last Dragon to go like, well, you know what? One Last Dragon movie. There we go. That's our Last Dragon. Is this Dragon Sound? And then,
One Last Dragon movie.
Yeah.
That can be our Patreon show where we just talk about movies containing the words dragon or the characters of dragons.
Well, the finale would have to be Dragonheart then, because it would just be like, well, he's the last dragon. We have to do it.
There you go.
What do you think about? There must have been. There must have been talk when they were making Dragonheart then, where they're like, it's called The Last Dragon. It's like you can't call it that because there's already a Last Dragon movie out. It's like, God damn it. And it's like, Dino De Laurentiis already had to change the name of Red Dragon into friggin' Manhunter to get around this situation. You gotta call it something else. Like, I don't know, Dragon Heart? Is it something to do with his heart? I don't know. It's hard to mention it somewhere. People aren't gonna remember that one bit of the trailer, him going, "I am the last one," and that's your movie's legacy right there.
Minute by minute, coming soon, folks.
I do know people who would love a minute by minute of Dragonheart. And I am not opposed to reviewing it at some point on the Patreon. If things are coming to that, I'm happy to pony up the mic time.
Well, you're not getting it minute by minute from us, folks. I'm sorry, we do enough as it is. You can maybe have a bonus episode, but this minute, as you mentioned, we're back with the most deadly battle of all time, and spraying and praying, as they call it in video game terms, just spraying and praying. Not a good move. Have you not played Call of Duty? Okay, fine, you probably haven't. This is the 80s, but still, not gonna hit a thing.
There's this guy just firing at like an iron girder that a ninja is behind, and I guess like maybe you would be like, okay, I'm bound to wing him. Like it's a little thin girder. I'm bound to get him eventually, and it feels like YK Kim says like I bought a giant surplus of squibs. So we're just using them on everything. I'm attaching a load of this girder. Well, the other minute, there was like squibs on the grass. For at one point, probably end up causing a fire or something. But
it burnt the woods down.
Although it does look a little bit impressive. And that, I'm assuming it's a metal girder, but there's bits flying off. So this is the put squibs on and little bits of like plasticine over the top of it to emulate the metal been shot off. Or maybe it's just very flimsy wood that just looks a bit like metal, but
it looks like metal to me. I'm with you with your initial assessment. I mean, I would assume a girder is so thick that a bullet wouldn't take chunks out of it. But maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, but unfortunately, this we never know what if he ever does get the ninja. We assume not, because another ninja comes in from behind. Took a rot, the guy, which is it's a scenario that just Austin Powers has ruined for the universe at this point. The like anyone getting garroted is like, well, it brings up, all you're gonna think is, who does number 2 work for and all that. Like it's
the classic. Sometimes TMI, I might be in a stall and I might think that to myself.
In a store?
In a stall.
A stall? I thought you just meant when you're at shopping, you're just thinking about taking a dump and been like...
Oh, I mean, I think about that all the time. Let's be honest.
So you're looking at trousers or whatever, and you're just like, how quickly will I be able to get these down if an emergency should, fall upon me?
That's an important consideration when buying trousers.
But no, yeah, I think it's and actually, it's quite unpleasant in Austin Powers, too, because he's, like, having to hold the things back with his thumbs to stop the thing going. That gotta be absolute murder on your thumbs, that. Like, because it's usually, like, piano wire or, like, really thin, tensile metal they use to do garrots. So it's like, oh, that'd be horrible. Although, I guess, still better than getting actually garroted.
That happens in Boardwalk Empire, doesn't it? And the guy's thumbs get cut off.
Oh, that's right, yeah. It's, ugh. I was saying with YK Kim has the budget for the squibs, but like no thumbs. We've got an arm in this minute, to be fair, so it's not as if he skimps. But I don't know, maybe he thought that the thumbs would be too much.
Yeah, I don't know. I was going to say it would be, but I don't know, there's some brutal stuff in this movie in general.
Particularly brutal stuff in this minute, actually. Because
Yeah.
I think we're saying in the green room. This is when the movie starts to get into full swing of just like ridiculous levels of violence and ridiculous facial expressions to go with that violence. One thing I will also say too, we may have mentioned it in previous weeks, but it still stands that like this background music, it still really reminds me of like the 90s Turtles cartoon. So if they used to always have like the incidental music that would just like drone on in the background, where it'd just be like
I loved it.
And then occasionally when something dramatic happened, they'd have to go dun, 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 dun. But I don't think you get that as much anymore, where it's just like, back in the day people didn't care. It's just like write one piece of music and just loop it in the background of every scene. So just
and I appreciated it. You really caught onto it, and it added like an ambience.
That's what you get those YouTube videos now. That's like 4 hours of like Halloween 3 ambience, and it'll be kind of like the sounds of a movie, of a particular movie. I know because I'm subscribed to one of the channels, and they recently did like The Batman.
Oh.
And of course it's got rain. You better believe it's got rain on the soundtrack, but it's just like that kind of it's kind of like the aura of the soundscape of that Gotham. Oh. And it's actually quite peaceful.
Yeah, when I
you're just
read
happy
my comics, I'm going to put that on now, because what I normally do is play like a soundtrack or something. But I'll admit sometimes you do get a bit distracted because the soundtrack's so cool.
Or sometimes like you'll be reading a bit of the comic and it's like a quiet moment, but you've got like Charge of the Batmobile playing in the background. Yeah. It's like doesn't really suit what's happening here. But if you have a level ambient sound playing, you're good to go. But you get like some good ones too. You get like night sounds of Jurassic Park and stuff like that, where it's just sounds like rain in the jungle at night, but then occasionally you hear like velociraptor honks or something that could be like a chittering, like a compy skittering past or something like that.
This sounds like something that would induce nightmares, though.
Maybe we should make one for Miami Connection. I'm pretty sure they haven't got one. This music would obviously have to be part of the soundscape, though.
I was going to say, yeah, I suppose we can just get a base layer of sounds of Miami and then layer that over it.
Yeah. And this we just have that like occasionally in the background you hear a little blast of dragon sound coming and going, and I don't know, people getting their limbs chopped off. I guess.
Well, this guy, he gets properly, after we get the stealth kill, Splinter Cell style, we get this guy getting sliced and diced, just chopped up with that sword. Jesus.
There's a couple of shots though, because there's all like a lot of incidental little things going on. There's a shot of ninjas scuttling across a roof that, looking at it in great detail, looks like two men trying to carefully get down from a roof, probably after the shooting is done, and they're just like, okay, don't fall.
Oh, God.
But it's just YK Kim and his infinite knowledge. It's just like, if you just use that little snippet there, it just looks like guys stealthily going across a rooftop. But it actually doesn't really, if you're properly looking at it. But
he's clever. He knows what he's doing to the untrained eye now. But we're masters of this art.
Yeah. To the eyes who have brains. We know he's making a point about marriage.
I mean, this whole movie's about that, right?
That is the Miami Connection. Is the connection of marriage. The bonds of marital bliss.
Connection between a man, a woman,
and the state of Miami.
I was going to expand out from there, but it's the 80s. There was no other definition of marriage in the 80s.
Yeah, that is true. There's another guy, too, I have to say, because when faced with ninjas, the gangsters are they're really giving it good. Like, there's a guy engaged in a sword battle with a ninja who's defending himself with a bin lid. And he's doing a pretty good job. Yeah. I'm just like, you know what? Fair play to him, man. He's really stepping up and like, ninja asshole. Hey, give me that goddamn bin lid over here.
It kind of makes me side with the gangster guys, because I mean that's impressive. That's pretty cool. You're doing well, man.
I mean, I guess if I did have to side with someone, because the ninjas are the overarching villains of the movie, so I guess I would be on the gangster side too, just by default.
Plus, they're just trying to, I mean, they're not good guys, but they're just trying to make ends meet.
Yeah.
They don't want any hassle, really. They just want to do their dodgy deals. Whereas these ninjas come in and just kill people.
They're obviously very just, they come in, they're trying to steal all the cocaine along with their life. And the money, as we find out later, in the next couple of minutes as well. It's like,
what?
The whole bin lid thing, though, made me think of, and this is one of those ones of like, pointless, when you had a couple of drinks and just people end up engaged in really pointless arguments. But, I don't know if you've seen the latest season of Stranger Things.
Oh, not yet.
But there's a bit where, no spoilers, but, obviously at one point, they're going to have to go into the Upside Down, because that's what happens in Stranger Things.
What?
And one of the major modes of defense they have is getting metal bin lids and hammering nails throughout the entire spectrum, of the round bin lid.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Because at any time, I think we call them demo bats or something like that. There's big freaking demon bats basically flying around. And it's just like, well, you just you hold it like a shield and just slam them away because they'll go into the nails that way. And I was like, made perfect sense to me. And I was talking to a guy, it's like, yeah, that was absolutely stupid. The nails just fall out the other side. I was like, what do you mean? It's like they hammer the nail in. As soon as a bat hits it, the nail's just going to pop out the other end.
Oh, yeah, there's nothing holding it in.
And I was like, well, in my mind, I was still made sense. I was like, no, I think if you hammer it in hard enough, it'll hold, right? I was like, no, it won't hold. And it just ended up being like a 20-minute, like, no, but seriously, though, if you hammer anything into a wall or whatever, just a mile pushing the other side, it's tight in there. It's like, no. If anything comes of that, even if they held it up, the nails would just slide out. I'm like,
I don't know. See, I don't know enough about sort of building or science or anything. Listeners, would that come out? I genuinely don't know. I'm torn. I'm stuck in the middle.
Yeah. I mean, it could be, the easy way around it. This is like, oh, just pretend they bent the end of the nails on the base. So, but no, you couldn't even do that because it would still come out. It
would be harder to come out if you bent it on the underside.
I think still at the back. If you bent that, it's like, no, still you push it, the nails will still come back out that way. So, I mean, it was one of those weird things of all the strange things of Stranger Things. We really got it held up on like, no, those bin lids were a stupid idea. But not. I think the whole show for me though is just like just let it go. People get really invested in that show, but it's like it's just all silly crap. Just it's fine. Just let it go.
That's the thing. I can suspend my disbelief. It doesn't matter. Like, oh, they found some way to stick the nails in. Okay, fine. It's glue. You can get metal glue.
I mean, stranger things have happened.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Plus, it's the upside down. How do you know how it works?
Yeah, that's true. Maybe gravity is now holding the nails in somehow because everything's upside down.
Exactly. There you go. We've explained it.
Although I bet this guy wishes he has some nails because, like, up against the ninja, he might fare a little bit better.
We get one of my favorite ones here as well. Like this one crook gets kicked by a ninja, and he sort of very clumsily falls to the ground. And then the ninja like leaps into the air and delivers the killing stab, which is like a video game. Finish him. But I thought to myself, being a nerd, I was like, hang on, should you stab with a katana? Because they're cutting blades. So I thought I would research it. I would look it up. And it seems,
in case people don't know, katana, it means Japanese sword. All fans of Samurai Cop will, of course, know that is the distinct dictionary definition.
It does mean Japanese sword, yes. That's what it means in Japan, of course. And yeah, from my research, it seems you can stab with a katana. But as I said, they are not designed for it. They're very fragile when employed like this. So, I think standing up and stabbing with it, to someone in front of you would work. But leaping through the air and onto the ground, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I found that stabs have been employed lots of times throughout history. It's not uncommon or anything. But he still probably shouldn't be jiggling it all around as he does it.
I think that it was the jiggle that kind of ruined it for me. Like, I think, oh yeah, it's landing a killing blow through the back. But the way he, like, wibbles that thing around, it's a proper wibble wobble. It makes it look like it's made of rubber. Like, and not even the blade, like the actual handle looks like it's made of rubber. It looks so much like a flippy floppy a dildo, basically, is what it looks like.
Okay, that is not what I expected you to say.
It's way too floppy, and it's just like I'm sorry, I was completely invested in this serious storyline up until this point, but as soon as I saw it, it just brought you to the mind of, like, Rowan Atkinson saying "wibble." Like, you could just you see the wibbly wobbliness of it. It's like, that just looks ridiculous, man. Like, just say. I guess they're trying to make the actor like, no, make it look like you're really, sticking it into him. But, like, we see how friggin' these things, like, they cut through bone like butter mere seconds later. So, like, all you have to do is just land on top of the guy, and we'll assume he's dead.
Yeah, it's very strange. And that wiggling it around, it's gonna break your sword, man. I hope you've got a spare.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, going through the intensely long list of cast members on the IMDb, about 3% of them have photos up.
Yeah.
But all the ninjas, they're all called like Chuck and Hank and like, you know, Victor McElroy or something. You know, it's all like, I don't think these guys are like properly trained ninja professionals, and I don't think they're from they're all that well knowledgeable about the way things work in ancient Japan or anything. So
yeah, they're maybe not entirely accurate. Let's be honest. They're trying. But,
I mean, that's not to say, we all know that Chuck Norris, he knows his stuff, and he's as Caucasian as they come. But yeah, this is so. I think they try to hide how like just a bunch of white guys all the ninjas are, because you never really see their eyes. Even they always try to keep them shrouded in shadow and stuff. You won't ever see occasionally like a little bit of a glimpse. They're like, oh yeah, that's a white guy. Like it's
because they're the Miami ninjas, you see.
That's the guy who sold YK Kim his lawnmower. You know, that's
it probably is something like that, isn't it?
Oh, 100%, definitely. And so, I bet the lawnmower blade that wouldn't wibble like that, but
wibble. But we get the unfortunate death of a Cuban gangster / Lou Bega as well. He bites the dust. The Hat Man himself.
We definitely talked about Scatman Hat Man last episode, right? The Lou Bega. Oh my god. I'm just appreciating now because it's like a little bit since recording, just appreciating the memory of that song flooding back into me.
I love that it's technically awful, but I love it at the same time.
I'm depressed. I missed it when it came out. Like, it was one of those things. If I had heard that the summer of like 2015 or whatever it landed, that would have been my summer jam. But I didn't hear it until like 2021 or something. It was like,
it was quite recent. We heard. I think you found it, didn't you?
Yeah, it was literally in the last year, and I was just like, oh, has this just come out? I was like, no, it's been out a while. But it's like, you missed it. It's like, how did the world miss this?
How did the world's biggest hat man miss it?
Yeah, I feel like I've let the whole side down now. I was too invested in my own hats instead of reaching out to the hats of the world.
You've let down the hatted community.
Indeed. As has this guy, though. Like, he's putting up a bit of a fight, but he goes down. He goes, the hat seems to get bigger on him every minute, too. It's
That'd be a great little sight gag. Every time it cuts to him, the hat's increased in size.
It kind of borderline looks like he's wearing like a Stetson or something now.
It's a stunt hat. He doesn't want to damage his real one.
Hey, I know. I've been there. He's like, I gotta go out. It's gonna be hot and sweaty. I'm wearing one of my lesser hats. Okay, I'm not bringing one of the real babes into danger here.
Hey, I get you as well. I've just bought some nice new glasses, but it's like I'm not wearing them on stage. I'm going back to the shop to get a cheap second pair because I get 50% off now. I've bought one pair.
yeah. Oh, it makes total sense.
Pick a cheap frame, use the 50% on that. They're my stage pair.
Yeah. Because I had to go in for an eye test earlier today myself, and they're like, oh, I'm going to need new glasses. But I was so thankful that I managed to, like, they bumped the price way down. Because I was just like, well... Because it was just, one of these things of like, oh, so are you on any benefits? And I was like, well, not really. I'm self-employed. And I get tax credits. And they're like, okay, so this eye test is free now? And I was like, what the hell? And they're like, yeah, and then here's a £40 voucher for a new class. Like, what the fuck?
I work for the NHS and I don't get any of this.
Oh, well, they maybe just need to know the how to talk the lingo, John.
Grease the palms. Okay.
Yeah. I remember a mutual friend of the show, Alison Grimm, talking about like, oh, now I'm an adult and I can afford so many pairs of glasses. I can just have a new pair every day. It's like, you can afford that? These things are like £100 a pop, right? What the hell? But I guess she's like in maybe a lucrative job and doesn't have any like children or anything. So she's like,
maybe.
It's like, yeah, just blow whatever on things to put in my face.
My problem is because I have to have so much done to the glasses. Because I'm so blind, for a start, they have to be insane prescription. And then because of that, I have to get them thinned, like to the maximum level of thinness that you can do. Because otherwise, they'd be like a milk bottle. And then I need anti-glare, reflective, all this shit. It costs like £350 a pop.
Whew! Holy moly.
Minimum. Yeah. And And then I always want transition lenses, so that adds another like 40 quid.
But now this is the thing, like, they had to get the thin down. It's like literally you just blow into your eye, your glasses just fall apart like comets or something.
No, it's so they look normal. Basically, because otherwise they would not look normal.
It would be like Bubbles from, Trailer Park Boys kind of thing going on.
Yeah, exactly like Bubbles. That's what it would be like if you didn't get them thinned. And
yeah, to be fair though,
they're
John,
always like, do you use computers? I'm like, yeah, all the time. Okay, so you need to get this added to it as well. Blah blah. Blah.
Yeah. Oh no, I got that too. The anti-glare stuff and all that business. Like, okay, I see where the upselling is coming from. But I was just more disturbed because I didn't realize that, like, well, your prescription has changed because you've got astigmatism in your eye now. I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, so
I've
your
got
eye.
that, yeah.
But they're just like, it's grown. Like, it's now arching outward. I'm like, what the hell? My eye is mutating? What the hell? They're like, oh, this happens to everybody. It's like, I didn't really, the only person I know who had astigmatism was like Steve Merchant. And he's got proper big googly eyes. It's like, oh, is my eye going to turn into that?
No, don't worry. I've had one all my life, pretty much. And the only thing they do is occasionally they check the health of the eye so that your retina doesn't detach. So when you get your eye test, they'll, like I went overboard and got like the fancy test where they do this big 3D scan with a laser and like just to make sure that everything's okay, and it was. So that's the worst. Your retina might detach. Sounds horrible, but they check it and make sure it's okay. And like, no, it's healthy, it's fine. You don't need anything.
Yeah. I think I've got to be. I was going to try to make a terrible joke about like, oh yes, now I've got like Patricia Arquette is playing me in a new horror film, so I was trying to go for astigmatism, and I was like, nobody remembers Stigmata. Like that's a
I
movie.
watched it not that long ago for the first time.
I think it's not a good movie. But
I liked it. I'm a sucker for any movie like that, though. Anything that's like vaguely horror-ish, but not really, and all about like religious shit. It's like, oh, I'm into this.
That was like a weird boom in the late 90s. Remember, they had like End of Days.
Loved it.
And Stigmata. There was like that one with Johnny Depp, which was like the Ninth Gate.
Ninth Gate, loved it.
Yeah, Frank Langella in it. I think there's a couple of like, because it'll be all Millennium. That's why it happened. That's like, it's the end of days, man. It's literally the end of days. So
why that show Millennium?
There you go. So maybe next Millennium, if the planet makes it. It won't. But maybe the TV then will be like, hey, God's back. Remember God? He's back in TV form.
Well, you know what? There might not be another millennium, but let's just re-celebrate the millennium.
Well, this year, you might want to wait a little bit.
Go out and slap someone you hate.
Yeah, I mean, Will could probably do well in the fight unfolding in this movie. I'd love to see something go over to smack one of these ninjas now.
Yeah, someone needs to, and we get the. We get a guy blocking a katana with a lead pipe. The guy with the beautiful hair.
Oh, this guy, he is my favorite actor so far. This guy. It's like everything about, because he really, everyone else can kind of pass as like, oh, maybe they're like a goon of some sort.
But
this guy feels like he's like the guy who sold YK Kim his lawnmowers, like, college dropout brother or something. Like
he's not even him. He's like, oh, I know a guy. I can get him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, bring him along. He's good. He likes acting. It's like, what has he ever acted in? Oh, he hasn't acted since like the fourth grade, but he used to be good. And then it's just the way he's bobbing up the stairs, and he's really got the like, go. There's your mark. Go meet that mark. Okay, I'm assuming they had marks in this movie. I don't know. Maybe YK Kim was like, no, we don't need that.
Even if it wasn't a literal mark, you can see he runs to the spot he's been told to. Stops dead, does a really fake looking around for an enemy, and then gets jumped, so to speak.
He kind of has the vibe like they were already in a fight, and he's like, wait a minute, let me go find something to fight you with.
Yeah.
Ran down those stairs, found like a pipe, and came back up. It's like, well, where is he? Like, oh, here he is, thank God.
And we get an amazing sound effect when he blocks it with the pipe, this hilarious little clink. That is like, that is not that pipe.
No. That's clink. That's like someone went with a teaspoon and clinked it against like a bar outside, a metal gate outside their house or something.
I think that's probably
how they make it sound a little
more
epic. I know, like it's, you think at least you'd have like the metal, like the sword scraping against it, or add a bit more gravitas. But it's so like, dink,
Ding.
Dink. Like,
Yeah, the scraping would be really cool, actually. I like that. Like,
but this guy, you think he's doing well, but things don't work out so great for him because
no, he takes a slice.
He takes probably the most brutal. Oh, we had the ninja star to the guy the other week there, which is pretty brutal. But this is like, whoa. This is kind of getting into that weird thing of like, why isn't this movie for kids? Because if you took this stuff out, you could show this to children as some weird moral lesson about ninja orphans hoping to eradicate the world of violence or something.
That's what Kim would have wanted.
But then they throw in, like, yeah, his whole arm comes off and you see everything. You see the bloody stump. You see the I guess it might be the mentality of like, hey, Star Wars did it. You know, that thing made like $1 billion.
I was going to say he gets Obi-Wan'd.
Yeah. So maybe that guy can run up the stairs going, "You'll be dead."
That would actually fit the dialogue of this movie quite well.
And then, much like his predecessor who had the ninja star chucked at him, this guy's reaction to it is once again just fantastic. Because there's a close-up of him going like, "Whoa!" But
it's literally, ah!
I think even that noise I made there now was more realistic than the kind of expression of getting your arm chopped off in this guy. It's, but it's this facial move. Like, it looks like he has the facial expression of a guy who's been talked into trying pegging by his girlfriend for the first time. And he's not too sure if he likes it yet. And he's just kind of like, okay, easy. Like, he's got a very, like, we're just trying something out here. It doesn't have the vibe of, like, my arm just came off, oh my God.
He's getting pegged, I love this. I like the way as well the discourse of, like, meme culture has gone from ass-eating to pegging lately. That seems to be the switch.
That's the generational gap now. It's like, oh, you would talk about ass eating, millennial.
We Zoomers do it properly.
And I've noticed though, I've become looking at a Generation Z fashion. I've become very jealous of the fashion that seems to be going on now because everyone's just dressing in crazy crap all the time. And I remember like, when we were growing up, the dress sense for people was like really boring. And now I was just seeing like I saw like they've got the new season of Only Murders in the Building where Steve Martin has a teenage daughter. Would never happen because Steve Martin's about 85. But
I was
whatever.
gonna say, yeah.
But her whole outfit's just like, oh, it's got a cool multicolored tartan trousers with this multicolored jazzy jumper and this kind of cool fur hat and stuff. I'm like, it's very 90s, which I guess like, but that wasn't quite. We weren't teenagers then.
No,
we kind of got into like that early 2000s where it was just like, people were wearing shell suits and crap like that over in the UK. So I was a bit jealous of like, oh, I wish I grew up in a time where this kind of thing was readily available to you. But
it is a problem because I would dress like that, and I did, but it wasn't easy, shall we say?
Oh yeah, it's like I went out of my way to try to find velvet jackets and all multicolored paisley shirts and all that kind of business. But it was like you had to go out of your way for it. Now it seems to be just falling out of the sky for these damn kids.
Yeah, they're everywhere, and I used to get beaten up for it. They don't.
Yeah,
they should suffer like I did.
Anyway, let's not. Now we can't become the grumpy old millennials.
No, we mean it with love. These kids seem like a really good generation to me.
Yeah,
they seem to be a lot more switched on. So we're making fun for fun. We're not being mean with it.
I thought we were going into a pegging thing then when you mentioned about them been switched on. I was like, oh, I think there's a couple of switches out there. Yeah.
There we go. Yep. The switches are in the house. It's a Miami thing. You wouldn't get it.
That's another t-shirt right there. What's the connection? It's a Miami thing. You wouldn't get it.
And then on the back it just says pegging.
It's just like... It's down at the base too. Like you'd have to read it over someone's ass. Like,
I really hope if I look up what's the most popular porn in Miami, it's pegging porn.
Now I feel we have to, between episodes at least, we're gonna have to do that.
I've got to do it right now. Let's see. Right, hang on. Pornhub have released this. Pornhub released this in 2020. Florida's most searched for term on Pornhub is Trump.
Whoa. That is a freaking can of worms right there.
Pegging is the most popular term in Rhode Island.
Oh. Well, not much else happening in Rhode Island. I understand it's a very dull state.
Clearly. Some of these, clearly people have just made up some of the terms and thought, let's give this a try. But, yeah. Oh, wait, hang on. No wonder it's during election week they did this study.
But even when you're not watching the campaign trail, and you know what? This guy's pretty hot. I
want to see more of that.
That feels now there has to be, someone has to come out and question this. But, what? Now I'm almost scared to, well, what? Is it people in Trump masks and, all the makeup and stuff, or?
It's gotta be, right?
Is it Trump being pegged?
Well, right, now let's see. Let's see here. Here's one that's not to do with the election. So they've done another one, a proper one. It's black men. That's the big search term. Okay.
I mean, it's kind of a swing from black men to Trump. It's a real. They got an eclectic taste.
I think that shows that people who are a little bit racist might actually be hiding something. Or people who are very very liberal might be hiding something. You never know. Well. People do like a bad guy. Don't trust anyone is what we're trying to tell you, listeners.
Don't want to give Trump any kind of an ego boost because God knows he doesn't need it. But was there anyone looking up Biden porn?
There was not. No.
Don't think so. Do not think so. I can guarantee Hillary probably at least got some clicks back in the day, but no one's going in for Biden. I was he's not weird enough looking to kind of even get into kind of fetishistic kind of stuff.
Have you seen young Joe Biden?
I have not seen young Joe Biden.
I like that we're keeping this sort of politically neutral here. I like that because we could easily turn it into a politics thing, but it's not our business. We're not American.
But there was something I saw though the other week where there was a giant there was whoa hey, young Biden.
Oh yeah, I was about to send you it, but you found it. Yeah.
No, yeah. All right, well maybe young Biden on the porn searches.
Yeah,
I get
specifically young Biden.
They just have to take the one photo and just try to Photoshop it in all of them.
I suppose we could deep fake something.
Yeah, use that. That's the Mandalorian Disney de-aging.
If anything, it makes me more upset though seeing someone who was that handsome become what he has become.
Well, anywho.
This is our whole thing, is going off on one. Going off big time. But where even were we? Oh, yeah, he gets... the guy with the... oh, yeah, that's it. Now, the gangster with the lovely suit. He's blocking a katana with... whatever the hell these are. What are they? They're like gauntlets made from random shit lying around?
I just thought he just had 2 blocks of wood. He was just blocking things with he's doing a really good job as well, considering.
He's doing pretty good.
Again, these guys are stepping up. Consider, I don't know how. I would imagine gangsters in Miami don't come across ninjas all that often, but because these guys are visiting from out of state as well. So
that's a good point. Yeah, they're not even from here. Miami didn't have a ninja problem until this moment.
Then 87 hitting. Oh damn! You couldn't move for ninjas.
It's just everywhere.
One guy we should not overlook, because there's a whole bunch of cuts to other random shots of fighting. There's one random dude who is just taking a shirt off, and in the middle of a fight, he just comes in. We just see this random shirtless dude, and he's not ripped or anything. He ain't got anything to show off, but he's just it's a fight. The shirt has to come off. I guess it's I don't know if on set he was my mom will kill me if I get this shirt wrecked. So I'm gonna have to take this off.
It, yeah. Because all I could think was with my wrestling logic of wrestlers do that for some reason. When they're having an altercation in the ring, they're not fighting. They're having an argument. They start taking off their shirts. And it's what? Why? What? That's supposed to show you're gonna get down.
Yeah, I kind of assume that's them kind of half morphing into the uniform. Of I'm assuming everything underneath will be they've already got the, the speedo and stuff ready to roll there. But I've seen it just even in like people getting arrested and stuff. They'll get the shirt off. I don't know if it's like because it gives them the advantage of like you can't grab onto anything to kind of hold them or anything.
Oh, like what's his face? The prisoner guy.
Oh, Bronson,
Charles Bronson.
Yeah.
Because he'd like butter his naked body up, wouldn't he, and run around, and they'd try and catch him, and he'd slip out.
I understand too. Bronson porn also quite big in. Distinctly in the Liverpool area, from what I've just learned.
Well, who isn't into big buttery Bronsons,
Well, it was played by Tom Hardy, and it was a good likeness. It was like, yeah, Charles. The weird because it's not that Charles Bronson. People hearing this who don't know who Bronson is, he was like an infamous UK, convict. Basically, spent like 40% of his life now in solitary confinement because he's just so violent.
Yeah, and he wasn't originally arrested for anything particularly bad, was he? I think he would have been put away for a little bit, but he just keeps like acting out while he's behind bars because he just wants to. He doesn't care.
Yeah, he is a full blown violent psychopath. So they keep it. He's just been locked up ever since. But yeah, you see, there's a movie where Tom Hardy plays him, and there are scenes of him like. He'll hole himself up in a room, take people hostage, and then you'll just see him just oiling himself up or buttering himself up. And then it's like, okay, open the doors and let's get into this. And it's just him like a naked, buttered up man attacking a bunch of prison guards and stuff.
I'm so torn because obviously that's terrible, but it is hilarious.
Oh, it is very funny. It's as long as nobody got properly. I'm sure he got the crap knocked out of him. I'm sure he probably viciously mauled a lot of those guards as well. But
yeah, probably back and forth between them. Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah.
And you can't blame him in a way if this guy's like attacking you.
Oh, of course. I mean, the thing is, because he's built. It's not like this is, to say that Tom Hardy is a good likeness of the guy. I'm talking like warrior level. Tom Hardy when he's in that movie.
Yeah, he's like Bane, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in the Bane shape of just like, oh, this is a muscular monster of a man. So like, it would be terrifying if that guy came running at you.
Yeah.
Like if I was a prison guard, I would probably just quit. I mean, I am certain in real life people were trying to get transfers and stuff to get away from him.
Yeah, probably. It's not worth it. Jesus, no.
But this guy is definitely no Charles Bronson. Let me tell you. And then the level of fighting going on with him and the other guys, this is like school drama theater class when you're like 12.
Yeah.
And it's just like make up your own plays, and it always ascends into a bunch of kids just fighting on stage and beating each other up and stuff because that's what kids do. There's no decent choreography to it. Like at least some of the other ones are like it's awkwardly done, but you can tell that there's a choreography to it. This is just like guys falling over each other onto the floor and just like getting digs in and stuff while they
and I'm sure they're technically good. I think maybe they just don't know how to do it for the screen. Whereas YK Kim, spoiler alert, when we see him in action, I think he's got the moves for the screen.
Oh, definitely. I'm genuinely surprised in YK. We'll talk a lot more about him obviously when he pops up in the movie, but I'm surprised he wasn't brought in to do more choreography.
Yeah.
Or just to be like a stunt guy. Like he just seems like he's got the moves, but and he's got the tools, the talent, the shape, the look, everything.
I would have liked to have seen him, but just because they seem to have similar kind of styles in some ways. I would have liked to see him with Jackie Chan. Because he's got that kind of fighting. There's a lot of props, not so much silliness, but he's got like a sense of humor as well. So that would have been interesting.
Yeah, hey, I mean, not too late.
Yeah.
Well, but yeah. So then we're approaching the end of the minute. We get one ninja. Well, of course, we should mention that guy who was fighting with the block, like the whatever kind of gauntlets he'd fashioned there. He gets kicked, and I'm assuming this is movie magic, where they're making you think he fell off from a height. Because you hear him going, ah.
Yeah, it's meant to be he's fallen off like the boardwalk or down to the beach.
But they just kicked him like through a door.
Yeah.
And then I always remember the one of these random facts that always stuck with me. Remember the movie Roadkill with Paul Walker and Steve Zahn?
Oh yeah.
where it was like a horror movie that was like, it was like Stephen King's Duel, but it was like they pranked a trucker, and then this trucker obsessively pursued them. And it was, to be fair, actually pretty good movie, I have to say, Roadkill. But there's a bit at the end where like Lily Sobieski is like the, she's the girlfriend. And of course, because back then, she's just there to get captured at the end.
Yeah, of course.
And I remember at one point, like I think my brother had the DVD lying around the house, so I was just one day stuck it on, and it had on, like when I was drawing or something, the DVD commentary of Roadkill. And I remember the one bit of the commentary always stuck at me at the end, because you see Lily Sobieski like wrapped, to a chair, and she's going like, "Oh yeah, I could totally get out of that," but like, you can't tell because I'm that good an actress. And I just remember being like, you haven't seen her in a movie in like 20 years, so I was like, well, maybe not that good an actress, Lily.
She doesn't want the work.
There's always. I think that might be. I think she might have actually just left Hollywood for personal, because she was doing really well. Like, she was a big star at the time. But that's neither here. But there's a random tidbit that always where she was just like, "That's movie magic that you think I'm strapped to that chair when I could get up and walk away at any time." I was like, I didn't really think it wasn't all that convincing, to be fair. But
no, she's a genius. I'm with her. Oh, actually, that's a Hillary Clinton quote. I didn't mean that. I'm with her.
Yeah, that's one of the search terms on Pornhub. I'm with her.
I'm with her. It's VR.
There definitely would have been Trump and Hillary together porn. That would have been one of the first things they made.
I guarantee someone's done that.
Oh, but you're getting like Simpsons porn with full-on costumes and stuff. It's like, those people are sitting there waiting, going like, whichever election year it is, who are the candidates? It doesn't matter if it's two 80-year-old, guys who are just like, we're going to make porn out of it somehow.
Let's do it. Why not? Where were we again? Oh, yes. One of the ninjas here, he grabs this last box. Is this of drugs or money?
Oh, this is the drugs. You see all the powder. I think it's from that bag they cut open. Because it's just powder puffing up everywhere. Don't know if he's getting high in his own supply.
Because he grabs that and leaps over the ledge to the beach below. He seems fine when he does it.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's a ninja, so.
Well, yeah, he always lands on his feet.
Ninjas could do everything better than everybody else. That's just a known fact.
Can they podcast?
Well, I mean, I've never looked into someone who. I'm sure there are ninja podcasts, but they're probably by like dweeby, white dudes who are about like sitting balding and spotty. You're just like, I'm really into ninjas and stuff. But not to insult any ninja podcasters out there.
You're probably
but I'm sure
right.
They're not actual ninjas.
Can they do porn?
Ninja porn? Oh, you better believe they can do porn. Not God, like, how honed their bodies are going to be. Like, every muscle will be tight. Like, they know what they're doing.
That's true. They got stamina.
Oh, of course, yeah, they keep going all good. It's like, well, how many takes are we doing? 85? No problem.
That's what they train for, baby.
But like, much like the other week where we complained about that old trope of, the guys testing the cocaine by having to slice open an entire bag to sample a little bit. And it's like, it's not a waste of cocaine. The stuff's going to fall out now, which it does in this shot.
Yeah.
The guy also leaves a bunch of bags. Unless I'm mistaken, he's doing that thing where he's like, "Oh, I got the box," and there's like, there's 4 bags of cocaine left on the table. That's money, man. You're leaving money on the table. Like, you have to. Those 4 bags are probably like $1,000 each.
That's true, but they're committing a felony here. They want to get as much as they can and get out within a time frame. I think they've got their getaway motorbikes waiting right there. Because ninjas on bikes, that makes total sense, right? They're very secretive and quiet vehicles. Oh, maybe
getting into the opening credits of this movie, which it self-describes what's happening. Cannot wait to get into it. But how long would it take? What, like 2-3 seconds to pick up 4 bags and pop them in to the already open case? Why is he's taking a bag that's lying open and spraying freaking Coke everywhere? Just lift them up. But it's that same trope as well. You do see it a lot when like people are robbing things and they're running away with money, and there's like just notes flying out everywhere. It's like, pick up the notes.
Yeah.
It's all money. It all counts.
That one is insane to me. It's like, hang on. I mean, cocaine, okay, maybe that's a bit more difficult because the product itself is illegal. So, you want to do it quickly. But money, get every fucking note.
Yeah. But, but yeah, so then we do have a very abrupt cut after he jumps out to these motorbikes. But I think should we talk, because we got much more of those next minute. Should we talk about it then, or?
Yeah, let's save them. Let's save them to next minute if you want.
Okay.
Because I've got one final note then, is the drinking game.
Oh, of course.
Which I really should do at the start of the episodes, to be honest, but then it would spoil the episode. Should I switch to the start of the episode? What do you think?
No, I think the end is okay. I think that's a good,
like a celebratory.
It's kind of it's a nice summary of everything that's happened as well.
Well, okay, so
the real drinking game was the friends we made along the way.
That was the real podcast. But this one, oh dear. I'm worried for your liver. I think we're gonna die doing this, because if we're taking a drink each time we hit one of these points, we will be taking, in this minute, we will be about to take 6 drinks. Ooh. We hit six times. We meet the criteria to have a swig. With the rolling, with the shirtless dudes, with the katana. Oh, Jesus Christ. So
it's basically, why did you just raise your whatever spirits you have, raise the bottle to your mouth, and just keep glugging for 60 seconds.
Chug.
Chug. And just see how much you get through. That's the minute.
You know what? You do you, right? If you've got a beer, you can maybe have just like 6 swigs of beer. That's okay. Because of recording needing to continue, I'm just going to take 1 drink. But a slightly bigger one. So
do it in 6 sips, maybe.
Yeah, maybe 6 sips. But I've had my first sip there. So listeners, do what you want to do with this knowledge that you're supposed to have 6 drinks right now. If you want 6 pints, feel free. I won't stop you. But there we go, everybody. That just about does it for this minute, doesn't it?
Yep, that's me. That's me noted out for this minute.
Our longest episode yet, because we researched stuff twice in the middle of the episode. But we will cut all of that out. We will head off now into the dark, dark night, and we will connect again next time with minute 6 of Miami Minutes. As usual, speak to us on Facebook at the Miami Minutes Taekwondo Orphanage, Twitter at Miami Minutes, Instagram Miami Minutes. What else? Check out our Patreon for our network, Sleepy Charlie Media, for wonderful bonus episodes and all kinds of gubbins over there. And yes, do join us again next time. Taekwondo family.
Listen to me.